What's up, everybody? How's it going today? It's Carpo here on a beautiful, beautiful sunny day in Portland. So I should be outside, but I thought I'd make a video real quick, and it's nice and quiet in here, so it's a good place to do so. I actually made this video 2 nights ago, and then I edited it, added in, a couple pictures and intro and everything, and decided to wait till the next morning. And then I watched it, and I was like, because I rarely pre-watch my videos. Usually I just go straight and upload them. But something about this one told me that I should probably re-watch it, and I'm glad I did, because I tend to, I'd had a couple drinks, and so it was quite obvious that I wasn't exactly straight. And I figured making a video telling people how to tell people to fuck off should be addressed in a sober mind, if that makes sense. Of course, the subject of telling people to fuck off isn't something that rests well with a lot of people. The reason why I'm making this video, and the reason why it took me a couple days to make it, was because I wasn't sure how to tackle it, and without coming across as, condescending or just stubborn or arrogant. But it has to be done sometimes. Some people just aren't worth the time to deal with, and of course, once in a while we run into somebody who is more than just disagreeable. They will not stop harassing you, or won't leave you alone, or telling you how to live your life. That was another video I was going to make about people who want to tell you how to live your life, and basically telling those people to fuck off isn't always as easy as you may think, of course, because sometimes there are parents, our siblings, our friends, family, whoever it might be. But who really is worth your time to actually interact with and to listen to their bullshit? And for me, what I found on the online is that years ago, when I started my YouTube channel, there was like this little kind of clique that formed around certain subjects, which still does today. But back then, I was interested in learning more about kind of some of the older mysteries, the occult type knowledge. And naturally, I had a whole bunch of people who were really interested in that and basically lived and breathed it. And then there was another group of people who were hardcore, say, Christians, who just wanted to say, oh, you're going to go to hell, this is all satanic, on and on and on. And so for me, the discussion was, it was to have an open discussion with people, regardless of what they believe, until the person starts making accusations or pointing the finger or, each one of us has our threshold of tolerance of what we consider to be enough bullshit for us to put up with. So, I bought into a lot of the trolling and crap back then, And nowadays I find if somebody leaves a rude comment, even online, or if somebody says a rude comment to me or during a discussion, rather than just attacking them, I ask them, what is the reasoning behind the way you feel? Sometimes people expect that if they leave an opinion in a respectful manner, then they're going to get attacked. So they go on the offensive to kind of attack you by saying, oh, your ideas are crap. And you have to be strong inside to know when it just doesn't matter, when other people's opinions don't matter. Because I'm the kind of guy who, I really respect other people's opinions. I believe that all of us together have a better picture of any one individual. So that one lunatic guy who's screaming about how all of society is fucked, whatever, buddy. It's not, I don't have the time for that. We have to live in this world with each other. So we have to get along with each other as good as possible, as well as possible. So I'd like to just read this I took a screenshot of this thing I wanted to read as I was flipping through a couple days ago. And it was this little article about telling people to fuck off. And it reads, gracefully telling people to fuck off is therapeutic. Righteous anger must be skillfully expressed in the moment. There's an art to not giving a fuck, and knowing when it's appropriate to flip the table the fuck over and let people know what's up. When someone does something you don't like, do you speak up, or do you wallow in repressed guilt for feeling any semblance of aggression? And on the note of that, as I wanted to mention before, I went through a phase during my kind of, in years past on YouTube, where I went through a peace phase, or a passive phase, where I tried to be a passive person. No matter how harsh a person was, they could just curse at me and make fun of me and insult my family, friends, everything. Whatever they would say, I would say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope your life gets better, But I tried not even to say, hope your life gets better. Just try not to be condescending at all, and just leave the person with this idea of, wow, okay, there was a nice response. What do I do? How do you respond to that? And I tried it for a while, and it does work. But it may get the person to leave you alone, but it doesn't give you the satisfaction of letting a person know what's up. And sometimes that's important, because it's not just for your own well-being, but for them to know when they're a complete douchebag. So to read the rest, it says, of course there are times when discernment is critical, and how we choose to express our distaste in certain situations will determine how favorable the outcome will be. But if we keep swallowing our emotions for the sake of avoiding friction and unfavorable reactions from our environment, we betray ourselves. Eventually, those emotions we push down will erupt. Telling people to go fuck themselves is one of the best things you can do for your self-esteem. Don't let people push you around. If you're too agreeable, you are prone to be exploited by others. Now, I know people on both ends of the spectrum. People who disagree with everyone and say, fuck you, I don't care anything about your opinions, and you're all wrong. And then there's other people who just take what everybody else says as the gospel and say, well, I don't know for sure, so I'll just trust this person. And all of us fall somewhere in that spectrum. Not one of us grew up knowing what to believe, what to think, what may be true, and what is true. Even if whether you're a supporter of religion or extreme, secularism, whether you're into science or you believe in a flat earth, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what evidence are you willing to look at and what people do you interact with. And while you're in that, whatever you believe, whatever you do in your life, everything has been learned from others, is my point. Not one person has just made the old term is on the shoulders of giants. And I believe it was Newton that used that one. He said, if I created anything great, it was on the shoulders of giants. And that, of course, means that everyone who came before us helped to contribute to building this temple that we now have access to. So if I go invent some new software or, create some new painting, all these are based on those who have built it before us. So, I know that sounds a little off track, but it's along the lines of none of us are quite sure. I guess none of us are really independent enough to tell everyone to fuck off and think that we know what's best. We all learn from other people. So when we get into disagreements about a subject, such as flat earth, for example, you may be able to have an open dialogue and say, well, I believe this. And the person say, well, I believe this. And you say, well, why do you believe that? Well, because of this, because of this. Eventually the discussion turns cynical, condescending. They start pointing fingers at each other, and if you're careful about it, you can walk away shaking hands. But otherwise, it's time to just say, fuck off. If a person starts to insult your intelligence or, oh, you're just one of these guys, or, it's up to you what your tolerance for bullshit is. And a lot of us have trust issues because there's a lot of trust that's broken in this life. And that's totally understandable. I don't think that's ever going to change. I'm not going to reach a utopia where everybody's just trustworthy and kind to one another. It's partially that not knowing, the unknown, which kind of drives the excitement of life. When you meet a new person and you interact with them, you don't know if they're going to be anything like you at all, or just some complete, jerk who doesn't want to hear anything you have to say and just wants to hear themselves. Or the opposite could be a person who just wants you to tell them how to live their life. And that's kind of the key to remember. There are a lot of people out there who don't have the self-esteem and self-worth to believe that their own thoughts have value. So they believe what others are telling them. And this is how we fall. These are the people that fall for cults. And the way I see it is that there are a lot of cults out there. We're not just talking about people sitting around, in a group in some remote village. A cult to me is even some of the cults online, like the flat earth cult, for example. It's jumping into something where you completely support the people around you and the rest of the world is all deluded. And so, anyhow, I was just thinking, I had some notes I was taking on these flat earth ideas, which is why I threw that in there. I'm sure somebody will be like, oh my god, but don't you know the earth is flat? But I won't get into that. So, pretty much I want to stay on the subject. This video was just about my thoughts on telling people to fuck off and having the strength inside to do it. when it's necessary. And you can take it too far, you know. If you go out and you push everybody away by telling everybody they're wrong because you don't want to hear anything, and you don't like the way the world is, you know, you're going to suffer because of it. So it's finding that fulcrum, that balance between what you're going to tolerate, what you're going to accept, and how you're going to react to the things around you. So hopefully we find a way that works the best for us. So next time somebody just won't leave you alone or is trying to tell you how to live your life, yeah, just tell them to kindly fuck off. You don't have to scream. You don't have to yell at them or flip them off and rant and rage. Just kindly fuck off, sir or ma'am. It's that simple. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful day. And if you don't, then fuck off. Take care.